The year is 2000. At this current time, I am 3 years old. Monumental things are happening. Eminem bursts into the music scene. DVDs have begun dominating the entertainment market, and The Sims was finally shown to the world. The Grinch also stole Christmas this year, and I'm not really sure if he ever gave it back. You get the idea. A lot of things were happening in the year 2000, but one of the biggest takeaways was the release of the PlayStation 2. This console sold out immediately and was being resold for upwards of $1,000. You starting to see a pattern with the PlayStation consoles now? A lot of people purely purchasing it because of its DVD player ability, believe it or not. This console would, over the years, go on to release iconic games such as Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Metal Gear Solid 3, God of War 1 and 2, Shadow of the Colossus, and my personal favourite, Crazy Frog Racer 2. Hello internet and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex, otherwise known as Puggapillar, across all my social platforms, and we're going to take a trip back in time. Do you guys remember the PlayStation 2? 16 megabytes of memory to play games. That's the memory card, 16 megabytes. Now on your newest phone, you take one picture and it takes up 16 megabytes. And it's safe to say that despite the newer consoles being released, the PlayStation 2 is still relatively sought after. If you were a kid in primary school or something and you owned a PlayStation 2, you were the fucking coolest kid in the school. Every one of your friends wanted to come over and play Spyro or Crash Bandicoot. However, where there's games that are extremely memorable, there's also games that get completely forgotten about or just left in the dust. Sorry, I'm still sort of amazed that we managed to store pretty much everything on a 16 megabyte little drive. That is unreal. Today, I want to talk about a game that consumed a lot of my childhood and most likely inspired my love for horror. I want to take you to the Haunted Mansion. It's 2003. Britney Spears becomes the youngest singer to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but that's not important. What's important is that a game by the name of The Haunted Mansion comes out, alongside a film starring Eddie Murphy and some other people. The Haunted Mansion is a video game based on the attraction and film of the same name. Might I also add that the attraction is fucking amazing and I wish I had it in my backyard. Cut to little me and I eventually get this game for my birthday, with no idea what it's about. I just remember seeing the cover and being like relatively interested, but also a little bit spooked out about it. I risk it all and put it inside, and to my surprise, a beautiful relationship was born. This game follows you as Ezekiel Holloway, who is a young Louisiana man desperately searching for work after the Civil War. So, for some reason, he chose this place that looks completely abandoned and looks to have no residents at all. His desperation for a job leads him to discover a misleading newspaper advertisement about being a caretaker for the mansion. You see, Zeke has always dreamed of becoming a writer and has written a lot, but is stumped on what to write about currently. The year, I think, is about 1800, so 50 Shades of Grey isn't a thing, so get your money, Zeke. Zeke has always written about thrilling personal experiences, yet hasn't had one in quite some time. Upon entering the mansion, he discovers he has a story on his hands. That is, should he survive. Upon examining the mansion on arrival, he is welcomed by 6 friendly ghosts who are Atticus Thorne's slaves, causing him to faint in horror. And you know what? That's a mood. When Zeke awakes, he meets a spirit in a crystal ball named Madame Leota, who informs him of the mansion's history and that Atticus Thorne has trapped 999 souls in the mansion as part of his attempt to take over the afterlife and should be sent into the depths of the after death. Leota also informs him on how to use the Beacon of Souls, a magical lantern that fires bolts of light to fight off evil forces, and adds that when at the hands of good, the beacon can be used to stop or destroy evil. So that's what we're tasked to do. Go around, defeat enemies whilst also searching for the 999 shriveled souls. We've met Ezekiel, so how about we meet some of the other characters? Madame Leota is a head imprisoned in her crystal ball by the evil powers of Atticus Thorne. She aids Zeke throughout his mission by continuously annoying you with pop-ups about what you have to do next. Hey Leota, love the tips and all, but it'd be a real shame if I just fucking dropped you on the ground, wouldn't it? Atticus Thorne is the game's main antagonist who seeks to destroy both the afterlife and after death. As a kid, I didn't realize how stupid after death sounded. Thorn possesses supernatural powers which he uses to turn each room in the mansion into dark supernatural puzzles, which Zeke can undo by turning on the lights. We then meet the friendly ghosts, who are 6 of Madame Leota's friends who provide soul gems, otherwise known as 2003's Infinity Stones to Zeke after he completes certain levels. There's the duelist who died during a duel in the Wild West. Wasn't a very good duelist then. The organist, the character is rude, but there's good reason for it. He was crushed by an organ. The beheaded knight is pretty self-explanatory, and we don't really want to get too ahead of ourselves. The 4th of the 6 friendly ghosts is the opera singer, and I kid you not, the character died after literally bringing the house down at a concert. An old lady whose character name is just Old Lady, very original. And finally the pirate, the last of the 6 friendly ghosts that Zeke meets, whose crew turned against him during a hurricane, which resulted in his death. Maybe you should pick your crew a little bit better next time, dickhead. You know, when there's good, there's always going to be bad. Just take KFC for example. They may have the greatest chips imaginable, but now they also offer KFC donuts. I'm not going to eat those! Evil spirits are the first enemy that Zeke encounters. They appear in every room after their introduction in the Great Hall and shrivel up and hide when the lights are turned on, almost like me. Evil spirits are extremely easy to defeat and do minimal damage, but always appear in great numbers with an absolutely irritating sound that is played along with their presence. Spiders. You know those things you probably fear in real life like I do? Here they are small purple and white spiders. You can kill these things by Mario stomping on their heads, or just shooting them from a distance works too. And then there's giant spiders. These spiders are larger than Zeke, are orange and black in colour, and are seen throughout the entire mansion, although not as often as the smaller ones. They also shoot strong webs that pull Zeke in and bite him, causing great damage. This leaves me thinking, did no one ever think that maybe bringing a fucking insect spray was a good idea? Look at these things! Why are the fangs so big? These big spiders were also responsible for a lot of my spider hatred when I was little. Upon entering the downstairs hallway, Zeke sees a female ghost with long brown hair covering her face and a faded pink dress, floating at the end of the hallway and then disappearing. Zeke. No, fuck that. Not happening, thanks. Zeke enters the kitchen, she calls his name and then floats up to him to... What the fuck is that? As a kid, these things had me on edge everywhere in the mansion, and I can honestly see why, as a young me, playing this absolutely terrified me. They will disappear and then appear behind you whenever they want to, and honestly, props to the designers on most likely traumatizing a lot of young kids like myself. These things will sneak up on you when you least expect... You hear that? Skeleton warriors are pretty self-explanatory, I think. They also throw bones at you like a boomerang. Wait. Bonerang. A large sentient gargoyle appears, and these for me really give off a Scrappy-Doo from the Scooby-Doo film vibes. Each time Scrappy-Doo punches the ground with his fists, it releases monkey skeletons that attack Zeke. Another nightmare fuel enemy is found in the nights. These things will scream and grunt loudly while attempting to impale you with their axes. Even better, they will occasionally chase you in the hallways, and all you'll hear is like a metal clanking sound. Then we have the Dark Reapers, who are a similar creature to that of the Grim Reaper, but I feel the name would also make a dope as fuck rock band name. Yeah, man. I'm actually off to see the Dark Reapers at 7 PM tonight. Yeah, no, it's a real name. Atticus Thorn is the multi-century-old leader of the cult, the Order of Shadows, who has transformed the Haunted Mansion into a dark, twisted version of itself in his attempt to destroy the afterlife. Thorn will appear in several rooms throughout the mansion to fight Zeke using a vast array of attacks. He initially generates worm creatures that emerge from his cloak when he fights the player, which, come on man, fucking worms? Surely you've got something better. Spoiler alert for an 18-year-old game, but at the end of the game, Atticus transforms himself into a giant worm creature to engage Zeke, and no, Atticus, I will not take your hand. Throughout this game, as you progress, certain rooms will open up when you have met the required amount of souls to open the door. These areas are smaller levels where Zeke has to turn on a light and then go ahead and capture the souls within the room. The overall size of the mansion feels big in scope for a 2003 game, and these levels help bring the mansion together as one. While some of the levels in this game can be a real surprise, some of them also just come across as really plain. So I'd like to quickly talk about those. The Great Hall is the starting room and the training area where the light switch is easily accessed. It's your tutorial room, if anything. The first level, which is the conservatory, is where Zeke must activate a piano and climb on floating books to activate the cello and violin, which leads to access to the light switch. I remember as a child absolutely struggling to complete this level because I couldn't manage to stay on the books. The game room contains probably one of the most interesting and frustrating levels at the same time. We get introduced to the giant spider here and then sucked into a pool table where we need to pocket balls in order to gain access to the switch. This level, as a kid with no concept of angles, needing to sink a pool ball was, safe to say, infuriating. I spent 40 minutes on this pool table as a kid. 40 minutes! The guy playing pool also, whenever he sinks the white ball, just laughs. Now, I'm not sure about you, but that means it's 2 shots to me, my friend. The mansion also features a downstairs hallway as well as an upstairs hallway. These hallways lead to levels found later in the game. Nailed doors can be found throughout the hallways, and if you get too close, you might just get grabbed. These hallways also feature grandfather clocks for saving your game, which I think is an absolutely unique way to save a game. But where's the grandmother clocks? In the kitchen level, Zeke must make a trail of wine in order to bring light towards the fireplace. It's an interesting puzzle where you need to stand behind certain wine bottles while floating plates fly at you in order to get the bottles smashed. It's all about where you stand and the angle the plates are thrown. The maid's room acts like a maze with walls that move and create a limited view, and Zeke must find 4 doors leading to a switch. These walls move around as you move towards them and contain enemies like giant spiders and banshees that will just fucking appear from the moving wall. A light switch is the goal to any level. Turn on the light, grab the souls, but in the dining room, the candles in the chandelier are top tier meme guys and will just start floating around the room and you have to chase them. They float around the room like a dog off a leash and they'll laugh at you whilst they do it. The ballroom is home to potentially my favourite level and Easter egg in the game. This level sees you pushed back by the organ blowing a very strong wind and requires you to use your brain to get past it. You need to use the spider web shot at you by spiders to draw you in closer to the next spider. It's a genius way to utilize one of the enemies to progress the level. You then fight Big Bad Mr. Drip here for the first time, and upon leaving the ballroom, my favorite Easter egg in this game takes place. If you look up to the left of the roof, you'll see an Easter egg that directly references the Haunted Mansion ride. You'll see 2 dudes in a roller coaster cart travel past. And me, there's me, I'm having a drink up there. As a kid, I never knew about this, and I only found out when I was writing up this video. And as someone who has now been on that ride and been in that seat those 2 guys are in, this is such an incredible detail. Quite possibly even my favorite level from the game that I just greatly underappreciated as a kid. The Winter Garden is probably one of the poorer designed levels. All you have to do is avoid falling in the floors as you try to get the water fountains rotated to their proper gratings. If you're familiar with the Haunted Mansion and the attraction, you'd know about the singing statue heads. In the graveyard, activating the singing heads correctly will raise the crypts and light up the area. The skeleton warriors are the enemies first introduced here, which makes a lot of sense because, well, you're in a fucking graveyard. Ezekiel Holloway has something Lara Croft doesn't when exploring a crypt, and that thing is most likely shit in his pants. This level is home to a 3-minute battle where you can't die against a majority of enemies. However, if you are going to die, dying in the crypt is probably the best place to do so. In the pantry level, a portal will begin the next battle. When entering the portal, you'll emerge in a completely different coloured environment, and although the filtering and colouring is cool, the level doesn't really offer much else. Some of the other levels that I found to be designed in a really good way included the toy room, trophy room, the museum, the gallery, and the observatory. The toy room sucks you into another mini level where you have to navigate the level on a ball. And my god, this one was annoying when I was young! Fireballs are thrown at you by the fireplace in the trophy room, and you must shield yourself with shields to light up the room. This is where we also get introduced to the knights. Can I say nightmare? Probably not that funny. In the museum, you have to make it through a chessboard-like game without walking in front of a knight. If you walk past a knight, you'll get sent straight back to the start and have to try and go past them again. Even as an adult replaying this, it took longer than I expected to get past it. I can't remember how long it took as a kid, but I'd imagine if I started it when I was 8, I would probably most likely finish it by my 11th birthday. Another confusing level is the gallery, where you have to change the evil paintings to good by simply walking past them to turn the lights on. This may sound easy in theory, but when you take into account that some of them require you to jump from ledges, it's a different story. The observatory blew my mind when I first played this. Upon reaching the top of the level and activating a switch, the level rips apart and you find yourself in space. From there, your gravity is shifted and you must jump to every obstacle in order to gain access to the light switch. As the game progresses, the puzzles get harder, and I still don't know how I managed to pass some of them as a young me. The sunroom requires you to bounce light off mirrors around the room to eventually light the area up. You'll also eventually hear metal clanking, and best believe you're about to get your ass beat. The sitting room is the worst level in the game in my opinion, and all you have to do is chase the light switch to its place. That's it. The children's room has Zeke first encounter a Dark Reaper in an epic but extremely clunky chase when the closet opens up. Despite the chase being something unique to the game, it comes across as slow and clunky, and Zeke also doesn't really know how to run. He has like a slow jog instead.
My man! You are being pursued! Run!
To come out of a closet is hard enough, but to go into one? I'm not so sure. In the parlour, circular carpets are used to rearrange the walls leading to the switch. Even though the mechanic of moving the walls is cool, it doesn't feel as cool here. When you eventually reach the attic, every single enemy you've encountered are finally fought here. As one of the final levels of the game, I guess they were just like, yeah, let's just throw everything at this guy. That means the screaming woman, giant spiders, Scrappy-Doo, the lot of them. The stretching room isn't really a level and is just a really nice callback to the portrait room found inside the attraction. Wrapping all of these up is the Vault of Shadows, the final level of the game. Atticus becomes a giant insect-like creature and you have to defeat him twice. If he was somehow smaller, it would be an easy win. Just step on the guy. But nope, this dude becomes a giant bug. He also steals all of your souls from you because he wanted you to do all of the work for him, the lazy little bastard. With Atticus stealing all of your souls, you have nothing to shoot, until Madame Leota gives you the rapid fire ability. This rapid fire ability can only be used here, and it fucking slaps. The use of a multi-level design is great here, as once you beat Atticus the first time, the room breaks and you fall into a lava level where you must traverse rocks as you shoot at him. With this, you've saved the mansion and can now go and revisit the opera singer, because I know for a fact you want to do that.
It was the most incredible experience of my life. Thank you, boob lady!
Zeke then pursues his dream to be a writer alongside Leota's help. He also gets a promotion and becomes the caretaker of the mansion, replacing Atticus Thorne. And that's how the game ends. Post-game, you can replay the game to unlock 3 different cheat codes. These codes unlock a weapon upgrade, which will eventually give you Madame Leota's rapid fire sprayer. You can also unlock an invincibility mode and a level select feature. The level select unlock is a brilliant addition and allows you to play levels from scratch without the need to unlock doors with your souls. You can go straight to the final boss if you wanted to. Having this feature also gives the game a bit of replayability and doesn't just lock you out once you've beaten the game. While there may not be a ton of post-game features, the ability to choose where you go is, as Marge Simpson would put it,
I just think they're neat.
And that's The Haunted Mansion, released in 2003, which makes it 18 years old today. A game that launched my interest into a multitude of things, and I feel like it was only fitting to have it be the first game I featured in my series revisiting older games or games that I felt were underappreciated. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a big like or a little like, depending on your thumb size. Share this video with a friend or two. And follow my socials down below, because if you don't, I'll send you to the mansion myself. Also, really importantly, if you have any game recommendations, please leave them below. What's in here? The Simpsons Hit and Run. I'm actually really excited to see where I can take this series and what games I'll be revisiting eventually. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. She aids Zeke throughout his missions by continuously annoying him with pop-up ads.